Whether it's good or bad, everyone has an opinion about the Cowboys wide receiver Ceedee Lamb. When the Dallas Cowboys were on the clock with the 17th overall pick, it was obvious that there was going to be a player on their board that they felt strongly about choosing. After the Atlanta Falcons took cornerback A.J. Terrell, the Cowboys found their guy in Trevon, a young, athletic, and talented pass rusher that was not only worthy of the pick, but also fit the team's needs. However, after the Las Vegas Raiders picked Henry Ruggs at number 13 and the Denver Broncos chose Jerry Jeudy 2 picks later, it was clear they would have a tough decision to make. The Cowboys chose wisely, selecting a day one blue chip prospect in wide receiver Ceedee Lamb. Lamb was a skilled top 2 receiver in his class, providing an exciting and dangerous element to this Cowboys receiving corps. It also gave them a perfect catch and run player with top-notch ball skills and flexibility to play both on the outside and the inside. All these attributes were essential to the coaching staff. Lamb can perform at an elite level on all 3 levels of defense. However, not everyone is happy with Ceedee's performances. Here is what some of the experts and analysts thought about Lamb coming into the draft. Dane Brugler from The Atlantic said this: Lamb has fast hands and feet to give defenders the slip before and after the catch, displaying the football IQ and athleticism that helps him find open space downfield. There is a backyard football part in his game, and some refinement is required, but his natural ability to create space after the catch is what he does best. He shows several gears, vision, and toughness to generate missed tackles. In general, Ceedee Lamb is a balanced player with the body fluidity of a much smaller player and the ball attributes and competitive mindset of a much bigger player, projecting as a top-notch NFL starter because of his playmaking instincts. Another expert, Kyle Krabs from the Draft Network, stated the following: Ceedee Lamb shows himself as an alpha receiver in the NFL. However, he doesn't have elite high-level speed, but he checks almost every other possible box. He's great with his feet, possesses solid body control, and skilled hands. Lamb transforms into a dynamic and fierce runner after the catch. He's experienced in manufactured touches, boundary, and slot work. Ceedee should step into an offense and be okay with filling any possible role that a coach could provide him. A top-shelf wide receiver prospect and great starter early on. Before Lamb in 2020, the Cowboys were hard to watch. For those who don't remember, the team was trailing by 1 point on the road, with Andy Dalton under center 6 weeks after Dallas suffered the absence of Dak Prescott because of a season-ending ankle injury. The former Oklahoma Sooner was running a fade. Still, when Lamb broke outside, Dalton threw the ball inward and high above his receiver's head. An average receiver generally couldn't make a break on the ball like that, but Ceedee Lamb is no ordinary receiver. Lamb cut back, then twisted his body as his position took him to the ground. After that, the cherry on top. As Lamb fell to the ground back first, he stretched his arms and got the ball in. Touchdown. Sadly, Dallas ended up winning that game, but in a 6-10 season. In the end, the victory was meaningless, but everyone remembers Lamb's acrobatic catch forever. Lance Zierlein from NFL.com said this about Lamb before coming into the league: Lamb is explosive and a 3-level playmaker and essential cog in one of the most potent offensive machines in college football during the last 3 seasons. Lamb uses quickness and separation speed to dominate the competition in a scheme that usually creates open throws in space. His plays will need to become more efficient and crisp to defeat man-to-man coverage when he faces NFL size and speed, but his skills and explosiveness with the ball in his hand should help teams to place him into explosive opportunities right away. Lamb can play any of the 3 receiver positions as a pro and should benefit a lot from NFL's continued movement towards college-style passing attacks. Bob Sturm of The Athletic chimed in before Lamb's draft. I do believe the biggest positive about Lamb is, in fact, it didn't matter who was throwing the pass or how defenses tried to take him out of the play. He was an effective player from the moment he arrived in Norman and pretty much never paused his pace. To record over 3,200 yards and 32 touchdowns in 3 seasons tells you all you need to know. But on tape, it's obvious that his ball skills are high level, and he really attacks the ball, and then the defense with a confidence level to admire. Lamb is very strong for his size, something that can be seen every time defenses try to corral him and contain him from another big play. He has a jet sweep and swing pass and is extremely scary in space. In certain plays, as Texas will confirm, he just cannot be tackled. He has nitro too, a lot of it. The player's hips and sharpness are truly impressive. Despite the high expectations put on him after he was drafted, Lamb was kind of off to a rough start. We look at it by year-over-year improvement, then yes, Ceedee's 2021 season was pretty disappointing to many. Still, he increased his receptions by 6, his yards by 188, and his touchdowns by 1 while dropping 1 fewer pass. It wasn't extremely bad by any means, but this production didn't live up to what most people thought of him. The vast majority of NFL receivers take a sizable step forward during their second year, and Lamb's improvement didn't reach the expectations of a breakout season. But maybe we're looking at this with the wrong eyes. Instead of analyzing his success on a year-over-year map, let's think about how Lamb stacked up facing the rest of the NFL using effective metrics instead of volume stats. Of all the receivers who saw more than 50 targets in 2021, Ceedee finished with the 10th best PFF grade. He ended up in 5th place by missed tackles forced, 9th by contested catch rate, 16th by yards after catch per reception, 20th by yards per route run, and 23rd by yards per reception. Even though Lamb was only in the top 10 in just 2 of those metrics listed above, Cooper Kupp, Deebo Samuel, and Jamar Chase were the only receivers who have long dominated these stats. If you compare, out of the 5 efficiency statistics listed above, Ceedee Lamb was a better player than Justin Jefferson in 3 categories. The wide receiver also had a lower drop rate than Samuel, Chase, and A.J. Brown. However, this doesn't mean that Lamb didn't go through an inconsistent season. His 8 drops, a 9.1 drop percentage, and 6 interceptions when targeted all placed him in the bottom 15 of qualifying receivers. And for an expected top 10 wide receiver, he disappeared very often. PFF provided Lamb as a backup quality grade in more than half of the games he appeared in. Still, Ceedee's flashes of talent in matchups with the Buccaneers, Chargers, Vikings, Falcons, and most notably the Patriots were enough to compensate for those down weeks. As long as this inconsistency issue isn't directly related to Kellen Moore's play calling, week in, week out reliability often comes with time. This also is assuming that he improves in the drop ball area. In fact, some fans and experts think that the time is running out on the young receiver. Lamb is still in his early 20s. During the last 10 years, the ordinary wide receiver played his 3rd NFL season at 24 and a half years old. Not only is Lamb 23 for his 3rd season, but he's younger than most other receivers who have 2 years of experience. This means that he should really take a step forward, right? Well, not necessarily. The league has drastically changed from what it was 2 decades ago when it took players like Terrell Owens 3 years just to record 1,000 yards. Today's athletes come into the NFL much more developed and skilled, so they hit their ceiling faster. Having said this, every player is different, of course, and Ceedee Lamb has 2 elements working in his favor that break from the norm. He's younger than most receivers entering his 3rd season, and he already outproduced the average second-year receiver. While both points are worth noting, the results have remained the same. Among the 21 receivers who entered year 3 younger than 24 years old, the average yards per game increase was 2.3 yards. To put that into perspective, that would equate Lamb to jumping from 1,123 yards last season up to 1,164 yards in 2022. If you enjoyed this video, you'll surely enjoy what Ceedee Lamb doesn't want you to know. What do you think of the wide receiver as far as room for improvement? Drop your thoughts in the comments section below. Be sure to subscribe, and thanks for watching.